What's the word? Hold up. Okay, cool. So I won't be on here too long. There's a lot of shit changing, y'all. A lot of good things happening. Um, a lot of leaves turning. It's very windy outside, if you can see from the trees. So first, Round Robin music video is out now. If you're here for the first time, make sure you subscribe on my channel, and you can see it on the feature video, and it's also the most recent video I've released on there. That is one of the singles from the upcoming album Mileage, and Mileage will be coming out very, 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 very soon. Coming up next month. Got a couple more music videos. Some of them I still got to go out and shoot when the weather is more forgiving. And yeah, it's a lot of other good things in motion. I got a lot of stuff that I want to show y'all. Yep, Dr. Malachi Z. York is innocent. He on the way. A lot of stuff moving with that. Haters mad. They big mad. But it's all right. We see them too. And just kind of like, in general, some things that I'm noticing is, because I'm a practitioner when it comes to video production and all that kind of stuff, marketing, and I was a early adopter, so to speak, of certain AI technologies and things that are running rampant on social media and everywhere, movies, commercials. I'm starting to see it everywhere. Everybody's using this shit. Not a lot of people, not a lot of camps of people have the skill set to utilize it like my camp does. I'll just put it that way. There are certain things we can do with it that most other people can't do. And kind of being this deeply entrenched in it, I'm noticing certain things shift with certain algorithms. Some stuff is not really like new, you know. But I was just talking to my team, and I was taking notice of how, like, Instagram, for example, they're starting to push the repost feature more instead of story shares. I don't even know if they're counting story shares anymore. Kind of copying TikTok, and they're shifting around the app so people don't really see the explore page as much. They're trying to push people more to reels so they can get stuck in that endless scroll feed, all that, blah, blah, blah. And I look at it from perspective of a marketer, because I'm a marketer, and I can always kind of make something work out of it. I can make something good out of it because I'm very good at video production in itself, as y'all can see from some of my most recent works I've dropped. What's up, TK? But I also see the other end of it, and I see that they're trying to keep people distracted. And it's something that, with my people, I check them on very frequently. If I ever see them scrolling on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or whatever the platform, and I see that happening for too long, and this has been since the beginning, like since short form vertical video has become a thing. I always check my people, and I tell them to put their attention on something else, because this shit ain't it. Even those of y'all that pop in here through the vertical feed on YouTube, you might have just been scrolling through some shorts, and then my face popped up. It might have, it might just be for your reminder to put your focus and attention on something else. Like, most of the shit that's out here is ass. It's garbage. It's not for you. It's not for your betterment or improvement. Even those that, like, maybe you're in the content creation space, or you're trying to build a brand or something to that effect, and maybe your Instagram algorithm shows all these creators saying, oh, these are the types to post, the type of posts and type of contents that you should post, and this is how you should set up your camera and all this kind of shit. What I come to realize, especially after being in the game much longer than a lot of these people who are coming out here as experts is nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. People just say things. They'll just make shit up. And the ones who get the views, maybe it's a pretty girl. No offense to any of the women or anything like that, but maybe it's a pretty girl and she's repeating something from some script that some guy or chat GPT or something gave her, or it's just some dude who maybe worked with this company and that company. He, thinks he's it. Whatever it is, people go by just the views and these vanity metrics, and they'll think that what this person is saying is the truth, but that's not always the case. You got to test everything, right? We're moving past this realm of believing and just believing things, because belief invites ignorance. What do you know? Do you actually know anything, or do you just believe things that other people tell you and assume that that's known? There's a big difference. Assalamu alaikum, Ibrahim. So that's what it is. And I don't look like the way that I move and think, and even kind of what's been reinforced to me by those that I kind of take an ear to. I don't disrespect anyone's beliefs. I respect your beliefs if you have a certain belief, whether it's a religious belief, whether it's your belief in the world, whether you think the earth is flat, whatever. I respect it. I'm not going to disrespect that. But what I challenge everyone to do that I encounter is to seek knowing. Like, it's cool, I guess to a degree it can be cool to believe something, but what I've been learning, especially over this last year or so, is that basically all beliefs are limiting beliefs, right? I'm not gonna get too esoteric with this, but I was just kind of talking to my team, and I was saying, like, okay, it's good that a lot of us are able to identify limiting beliefs, right? Like, I can't do this thing, right? Seek knowing. I can't do this thing, right? That's a limiting belief. Yes, you can do it, right? And even just shifting from that I can't do this thing to I can do this thing, it will immediately kind of change your lens to where you can actually start seeing ways to where you can do that thing. And then you'll realize, oh shit, I can do this thing. I have this, and this way to do it. And as you start to work through these ideas and you start putting ideas into action, you start to realize, you start seeing fruits from these ideas, you start seeing things come into fruition. And lo and behold, you at that point, then you can do that thing. So then that limiting belief is eradicated. So what I was saying to my team over at Bushido Instincts, my marketing consortium, media consortium, I was saying that every belief, not just those limiting beliefs, but every belief is a limiting belief. All beliefs limit people because beliefs keep people in ignorance. I think I said that already. The man who I heard say that first was Dr. Malachi Z. York. What's up, David? You have to seek knowing. You have to figure out how to know things. And how do you know things? Well, it's simple. There's 3 pillars of knowing. And again, this is brought forth by Dr. Malachi Z. York, but it's something that I've checked with my own senses and reasoning and found to be true. And those 3 things are experience, evidence, and reason. It has to check out. I grew up as a scientist. Ever since elementary, middle school, high school, when it came to the science fair, around here, on this side of Florida, I always have been and was him. I took science research, I think 5 years out of the 6 years of placed in the fair multiple times, got first 11th grade for an experiment that I worked on with a partner from another school. that we had worked on and designed at Florida Institute of Technology, and the experiment was on quantum physics, particle physics. I don't remember the exact basis of that particular experiment. You maybe find a newspaper from like 2009 and find it. Um, but I do remember because we did like a fuckload of experiments over like that summer and through that year. But I do remember the scientific method. I do remember how to think think in a scientific way so that I can actually approach knowing things, right? What is science? Science is to know, right? So you have, and I'm not gonna go too long with this. Like I said, kind of Wi-Fi is kind of cutting in and out. It's real windy and shit. I don't want this to drag too long, but I feel like cooking for a second. Um, in the scientific method, what do you have? You start with a question, right? Is this thing a thing? If I stand here underneath these gray clouds, is it going to rain? That's my question. All right, let's have a hypothesis. Okay, so my hypothesis is that I'm formulating is if I stand under these clouds and the wind continues to move at this pace and speeding up, and the pressure drops to where it starts to get a bit heavier. Okay, in that case, it will rain, right? So that's my question, that's my hypothesis. Okay, so now let me go ahead and put this to the test. So I run some experiments. Maybe I come out under this cloudy sky 3, 4, 5, 6 times over, I don't know, a span of a week. Let's say it's cloudy every day or every day for a week. All right, well, there's some days it may rain, some days it might not rain. So then I have my data. So then I analyze my data. And then I look at that data analysis and I come to my conclusion. Standing underneath this cloudy sky under XYZ conditions will cause rain to fall on my head. The data was accepted by the hypothesis, or the data accepted the hypothesis. The hypothesis was accepted. Clouds create rain. Right? Or maybe data wasn't, maybe it was inconclusive, or maybe the data didn't support the hypothesis, etc. My point is, like, this is the way to go about things in the scientific method. You can use the same process with anything. Anything. There's things that we can know by experiencing the things. If I, for whatever reason, walked into the street and a car ran over my foot, I would know that my foot got ran over by a car because I had that experience. That's a crazy example. But that would be a sense of knowing. I experienced that. I was there. I experienced it with all my senses. Whereas there's certain things to where you can only really know them by using evidence and reason. And then that's where in comes the scientific method, and that's where in comes logical and critical thinking, etc. A lot of people don't critically think. Bro said this is getting epistemological. That's a fire ass word. I'm gonna have to put that in a rap. But you know, a lot of people don't have critical thinking, and what y'all don't realize oftentimes is that gets taken advantage of by those who know how to direct thinking, those who know how to create marketing campaigns or propaganda campaigns, those who know how to implement psychological operations, all these kind of things. They take advantage of your ability or lack of ability to critically think, and they'll make you think a certain thing. We saw this happen 5 years ago when everybody thought that there was some mystery, invisible stuff that was floating in the sky and it was jumping in and out of people's bodies, and you know, this person sneezes and everybody turns and looks at them crazy, and people are sitting in a restaurant eating with masks on, and they pull their mask down to put the food in their mouth, and then they pull the mask back up. What the fuck was that? That doesn't even make sense. It didn't make sense. Scientifically, it didn't make sense logically, but everybody fell for it. Damn near everybody. That's because nobody had their thinking caps on. Nobody was thinking critically. I'm about to walk home, so I'm about to get off of here. But you just have to really be aware. You have to be aware of what's going on. You have to be aware of what people's intentions might be. You have to be aware of actually finding the truth in something, or if you're looking at something that someone wants you to look at and think a certain thing. I only want, I was just saying this to my brothers, that my brothers in my organization and my team, not organization, but it's only a few of us. I was just saying this to them. I only want to be around elite people. I asked them, how many of y'all are here? Out of the few of us that there are, I think it's about 9 of us. I asked them, how many of y'all in here still working 9 to 5? and or does anyone else in here still working 9 to 5? Now, no disrespect to anyone that works 9 to 5, but everybody on my team said no. And then I remembered I had to think back over like the last few years as we've been working together, and there's some of them I had in-depth conversations with one-on-one because they didn't want to work in that 9 to 5 and they wanted to go into business for themselves. And I had to come to realize earlier today when I was asking this that I helped them to succeed in that. There's some of them that quit that 9 to 5 because they went into business for themselves with things that I showed them and things that I guided them through and all that kind of stuff. And that gave them the resources to go out and make more money than they would have been making in that 9 to 5, 2, 3, 4 times as much. Going into business for themselves, working from home, working from wherever they want to, right? That's not necessarily for everybody, but I say that to say, like, when it comes to any realm, not just in the financial space, you want to be surrounded by critical thinkers. You want to be surrounded by people who aren't just following, I don't want to say following the rules. You want to be surrounded by people who aren't just doing what they're told, but actually have the ability to think for themselves. And on the same token, you also want to be surrounded by people who, when you're told the truth, when you're told to do something that actually is going to be for your benefit, you want to be surrounded by people who will hold that up to reason and act accordingly. Because, I say all these things. I'm not saying that everyone out here has shady motives. I'm not saying that every group of individuals or whatever is out to get you or anything like that. Because there are some good people out here. There are some good clans. I don't really know what word to use, but because I really steer away from the organization thing. But there's good people out there. There's good groups of people. There's people with objectively righteous missions, and they objectively want to see the betterment of this world and the people that are in it. So when you hear from those people, sometimes all the other ones are screaming that those people are wrong and that those people want to do this and that to you. But meanwhile, if you hold it up to logical reasoning and sense, and you're really paying attention, and you're paying attention not just to the individuals, but you're paying attention to their works, you'll see that it's the righteous works. Okay, so maybe that's the one that you need to listen to. Maybe that's the one that you need to align with, right? It may not be very loud. It may not be as loud as all the other noise that's out here, because it does get very noisy out here. As you're scrolling through YouTube, it gets super fucking noisy. What's up, Nethra? Peace. It gets really noisy. So you have to be able to filter that stuff out. So the word of the day is think. Think critically and seek to know. If you enjoyed this little discussion of ours, make sure you hit the subscribe button at the top. Round Robin music videos out now. I got a couple shorts that I got to post for y'all, and a couple other things that I'm posting for my community on here. And some more music videos coming. Mileage album is coming within the next 30 days. And whole lot of more good works that y'all be bearing witness to in the future if you decide to tag along and walk with me. I do, I shook. That's divine love. Wadu, peace.